Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to developing for Mercedes-Benz Challenge on Android. I am Tõnis. I've been developing the Android SDK, and today we'll be writing a simple application that connects via Bluetooth to the vehicle and sends a command and receives input from the vehicle. Later we also use telematics to send another command. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is start the Android Studio and create a new project. Let's see. Okay, start the new Android Studio project. Here it is. Let's call it webinar app. It's for phone and tablet, and it's an empty activity. Let's disable backwards compatibility and finish. So here we go. We have our application ready. And the first thing we need to do here is actually download the framework, HMKit framework, and add it to our project. So we can get the framework from the developer center. So let's go just to the main page. And here you can see popular platforms, Android things. Let's go here and download the HMKit. Okay, it's finished. Now we can go back to our project, and we need to put the library inside our project. So let's reveal the project structure. Let's go to app, app and leaves, and we need to put the HMKit here. So here's the download. Let's put the HMKit here. Now it's in the project structure, and we need to tell the Android Studio to include it. We can do it in the Gradle file. There are some pretty specific commands, so we can copy them from the tutorial. These ones. So first we need to add repositories to the Android part and add these two dependencies. Okay, let's save and sync now. And let's go to our main activity. Let's see if the import worked. Manager. Okay, you can see we can the studio sees our classes, High Mobility HMKit, so we can start writing our application. So the idea is to first broadcast around the Android device, so the vehicle or the emulator can scan for it and connect to it, and then these two devices can send commands to each other. So the first thing we need to do is start broadcasting from the Android device side. For this, the SDK has the access point for the SDK is the manager.get instance, and from here we need the broadcaster. We will use it later, so we'll put it as an instance variable here. So what we want to do is start broadcasting. it wouldn't be any use now, and it would actually fail to start it because the SDK has not been initialized. For the Bluetooth commands to work, you need to have certificates and initialize the SDK with the certificates through this method called in manager called initialize. So here you need string certificate. You need the certificate private key and public key, and you can get this from the developer center. So let's do that now. Here let's go to the develop part. What you need to do is create an application. Let's create a new application called Android app. And for the Android app, we can create a device certificate. Oops. Let's write the name here as well. So we're using a Nexus device for development purposes. So let's write a Nexus. So this is the certificate for the Android device that we use. Okay, now we have the certificate. Let's tap on it. Here you can see some information about it, and also here are snippets. So there's actually already a made snippet that we can just copy, and in the project just use the snippet to initialize the SDK with the right certificates. And after this, the broadcasting should be possible. So let's see. Start broadcasting. It takes a start callback. So new start callback. There's two methods on broadcasting started. Let's log it out that it started. Let's also add a tag. And if the broadcasting failed, we can log this out as well. And some information about the error. Message and type. But hopefully it will work. So let's try this out. Let's run the application on our Nexus device. Here we have it streamed. Okay, launching activity, hello world, and we got the callback on broadcasting started, so the broadcasting works. The Bluetooth is working, the broadcasting is working, and the emulator probably can see us. So for the next thing, we actually want to make a connection and an authorized connection between the vehicle and the Android device. So for this, we need to set the broadcaster listener. We'll set it to this class and make this class implement methods. So this is needed to get when the Bluetooth connection gets established, then on link receive method gets called. So the link is basically a representation of the Bluetooth connection between the vehicle and the Android device. And when the connection drops, you get on link lost, and on state change gets called when the broadcaster goes from idle to broadcasting state or back to idle. So broadcaster listener. On state changed, we don't really want to do anything. Just log out the state. But on link received, so this is the important part. We probably want to store the link in an instance variable because we want to add a button later to maybe send some commands. So let's add it as an instance variable. Okay, and we also want to set the listener. So to get the actual commands from the vehicle, we need to set the link listener, and we also get state changes there, and that's why we need to set the listener. We also set it to this class, and when the link is lost, we want to set the listener to null because we want to clear all the references. So this we set the listener to this class, and for this we need to implement the interface methods here. So yeah, when the vehicle connects to us the first time, then the vehicle has an option to send us an authorization request, and the SDK sends it out to you, and you can send it out to the user to whether approve or decline the authorization request. For this application, in the on authorization requested callback, we will just approve it instantly. You can make an application that shows the user an alert dialog with like approve or decline, but we'll make a simple one here. So if the SDK doesn't receive the approve or decline, it will send on authorization timeout, but this won't happen because we're approving immediately. What we would like to do, I think, is see the actual link state in the UI. So for here, I think we could add a label in the layout. So the application already started. A label, so we can use this one. Let's set the text size to a bigger one. Okay, and add an ID here. ID is state label. And the text, let's clear out the text. Oh. Okay. Oh. Let's set it to relative layout here. And center in parent true. Okay. I like to use butter knife to bind my views, so let's add it to the Gradle script. Here we go. Let's synchronize. And let's bind our new view here. Butter knife, bind this. At r.id, state label, text view, state text view. Okay, let's change this to state text view. Okay, and now on link state changed, let's see if link dot get state equals authenticated, then we're good. But I guess we can just set the state here. So state text view, set text, link get state, and we want to clear out the text view if we lose the link. So let's just clear it out. Okay, so I think now we're ready to test the authentication process, so let's try. Okay, launching activity. It's still hello world, let it be. But yeah, so now we need the actual emulator. For this, you can go to develop, select virtual cars here, and create a new car. Let's create the one that has the most capabilities, and let's add Android car. From here, you can launch the emulator, and we have the emulator. And the next step here, to connect to the Android device via Bluetooth, there is the scan button, and you can see that the device is broadcasting. So let's click pair. So Nexus is now connected, our device that we created the device certificate earlier, and now it's not authorized yet, so we can click authorize here, and we can see the state here changed to authenticated. So now that we're authenticated, we can start sending a command, or start sending a command and receiving notifications from the vehicle. So the idea first is to make an app that can lock and unlock the doors. For this, let's go to the layout again. Let's clear this text and add a lock button. Let's wrap it in linear layout. And add the button here. Wrap content, and let's add an ID. Lock button. Okay, let's see. The doors are currently unlocked for the vehicle. So let's set the text to lock. Doors are unlocked. We want to lock them. Okay. Okay, let's go to our activity. Also, we'll probably want to hide the button before it's authenticated. So let's set the visibility to gone here as well. Okay. Let's pin the button. Lock button. Button. Lock button. Okay, so when we get the authenticated state, we can lock button, set visibility, visible. So when the vehicle authenticates with the device, the lock button will be set to visible, so you can actually press it. And let's add a method here. Or let's just set it here. Lock button set on click listener, new on click listener, and on click we have the link instance variable, and on click we want to link dot send command. So this requires a byte array as the command. So let's see, we need to create the byte array first. The byte array command equals, and we can get the bytes from the command class, and here there's door locks and lock doors, and this expects a boolean to whether lock or unlock the doors. Okay, but where do we get the state, the current state? Let's add an instance variable here. Let's set it to doors locked, lock doors, and let's set it to doors locked if the doors are locked, lock doors. We want to set it to false. Let's just do it like this. If doors locked, else. Here we have the bytes. So if the doors are locked, then the command is lock doors false, because we want to open the doors. And if doors are unlocked, we want to lock the doors. You can send here we can send the command, and we get the response via command callback. So here we get on command sent and on command failed. We don't want to do here anything. Let's just log this out. Now probably the locking of the vehicle is working, but we want to set the boolean as well. And every time you lock the car will send a command back to you, a door lock state, and you will get it here in the on command received part of the link listener. So in here we want to catch the command. So we have bytes here, and to parse the bytes to a more readable command, we need to parse it. We can do it through incoming command dot create bytes. So this incoming command equals command create, and this needs to be in a try catch block because the parsing could fail. But if the parsing was successful, a parsed command has been created, and we can check if the command is let's see, if the command is command dot door locks dot lock state, then we are interested in it, because we want to set the boolean and also set the lock button text. So here we can log state, cast the command to the log state command. Log state command and get the current log state. So what we want to do here is check whether the doors are locked, then set the boolean and the button text and to one thing, and if it's unlocked then to another thing. Let's see, if log state is locked, then let's set the doors locked to true, and the lock button, let's set the text there to unlock, because if the doors are locked then the button will unlock the doors. Else doors locked equals false, and lock button set text to lock. Okay, so I think this should be all for the lock button. Let's try to run it. Okay, the application started. Let's authenticate with our device. Here we go, authenticated. Okay, the UI is a bit off, but let's try to lock the doors. Lock, it worked. The button changed to unlock, but the door's locked here, so now we want to unlock. And the door's unlocked. Lock. Yes, so this is working. We can send commands to the vehicle, and the vehicle will send commands back to us, telling us the state of the door locks. Okay. So I wanted to do another thing that is kind of like automatic. The vehicle sends some kind of state to our application, and our application like has some inner logic, no user interaction, and send something back to the vehicle. So the idea is to get the ignition state. If the ignition state is on, then we will send open the rooftop, and if the ignition state is set to off, then we will close the rooftop. Okay, so let's do this. First thing, we need to again use the on command received and use the same command parsing. So we will not, for the ignition state, we will not get the command door locks lock state, but we will get something else. So let's see what it could be. Else if command is it's command dot engine dot ignition state. If the command is ignition state, then we want to do something. So it's ignition state incoming command incoming ignition state equals, and we can cast the command ignition state command, and here we can get the state. If state is on, else. This requires a delay as well, so after the emulator has sent us the command, it needs some time to wrap itself up. So let's delay this for like 1 second. Okay. State. here, if the state is on, we want to send link dot send command, and here we need another command. So let's again use byte array command, and okay, we can put it to back here. And if state is on, we want the command to be to open the rooftop. So it's let's see, command rooftop control rooftop, and this requires dim percentage and open percentage. Let's set the dim percentage to 0 and open percentage to 1. So if the engine is on, then the open percentage is 1. And if the ignition state is off, then we want to set the open percentage to 0. And here we can send link send command, new command callback on command send. Let's just log it out. On command send, ignition state. On command failed, ignition state. And let's log out the errors here as well, as we did in the broadcasting start. But here we have the link error. Okay, here it's 1000. So let's see, if we get an ignition state, then we check if the state is on. If the ignition is on, then we open the rooftop, and if the ignition is off, then we close the rooftop and send the command after 1 second. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, the application has launched. Let's scan for the device. Here it is. Okay, and it's authenticated. Great, and what we want to see is rooftop control. So this changes this picture, and let's set the engine here. The engine currently is off and the rooftop is closed. Let's try to set the ignition to on. Oh, and the rooftop opened. So our Android device got the ignition on state and open the rooftop to the vehicle. Let's set it off. And the engine went off and the rooftop closed. Okay, let's set it off. Okay, these were 2 examples about how to use the Auto API. There are many more, as you can see. But yeah, those are for you to try out. But for the next part, I think I'm done with the Bluetooth here, and I would also like to tell you about the telematics commands and to send one command via telematics. So to do this, there's a similar thing as with the Bluetooth, that you need to get the certificates. But you cannot have a snippet like this. The SDK needs to download the certificates. So when on create, let's add a method called download certificates, create method, and okay, download certificates. And to download certificates, there is a method in the manager class called download certificates, and it requires an access token. And to get the access token, you need to do some things in the developer center. So let's go here. Let's go to the starting page. And here, let's go to develop and services. For the telematics command to work, you need to create a service. So let's call it Android service. And let's use it for our Android app. And let's grant full access and create. Okay, now we have our Android service. Let's go back to the emulator. Let's refresh it. And let's go to connected services. And here you can see Android service. Let's click on this and enter the workflow. Here, log in as the user. Here you can see we're requesting permission. Let's full control of the car. Let's grant access. And permission granted. So now the access token has been created, and you can copy it here and then go back to our application and paste the access token in here. Download certificate, okay, the access token, and another parameter is new download callback. Here for this application we don't want to do anything as well, so let's just log it out on download certificate. If download failed, again log it out. But for this one we want errors as well, error message. So it's download access certificate error. Okay, so when this is finished, we would like to send a command to the vehicle through telematics. For this, the command will be the controlling of the lights, and for this we will have a we will add a button. So let's just add it up here. It doesn't have anything to do with the Bluetooth. Let's just copy it from here. Let's keep it visible. The lights button text, set lights to full beam and center horizontal. Okay, let's go back to the activity. Let's pin the view, lights button, lights button. Okay, we have binary view, and now we can set the button listener here. Lights button, set on click listener, new on click listener. So when lights button is clicked, we want to send a telematics command. We send telematics commands through telematics object that you get from the manager singleton. So it's telematics equals get telematics, and from telematics we can use the method send command, and here send command, here similarly to the Bluetooth commands we send the bytes, and the bytes are actually the same, but we also need the vehicle serial here. And where we can get the vehicle serial is from the download certificate callback. Here we can see on downloaded, we see bytes here. So this is the vehicle serial. So let's add an instance variable called vehicle serial. Okay. And we set it here, and we can use it when we want to send the command. Now for the command, we'll be using the lights. So we will get the bytes from command.lights.control lights. Okay. So control lights requires front exterior light state, rear exterior light state, interior lights state, and ambient color. We only want to set the front exterior light state for now. So let's get the front exterior light state equals, let's see, front exterior light dot active with full beam. So we'll set it to full beam lights. Okay, set to byte array command equals command lights control lights front lights state control lights front light state. Now it's rear exterior light state, is set to false. It's interior light state, is set to false, and let's set the ambient color to black. And here telematics send command to this vehicle serial, and here's the command callback as well. So on command response, let's just log it out. Actually, let's log out the error as well. And reasons. So another thing that is different from the Bluetooth, that is different in telematics from Bluetooth, is that okay, we're in the wrong place here. Okay, we want to put this here. So what's different about telematics command is that you will get the response from this callback here. So for the Bluetooth, you got the callback in link interface method, but for telematics, you will get the response bytes from here. So here you will get the light state as well from bytes. So here you could do like incoming command equals incoming command.create from bytes, as we did in on command received. And there you could check whether if it's light state and update the UI. But we will not do it for now. Okay, so I think we should be able to send the telematics command now. Let's try to run the app. can finish the workflow and go back to the capabilities. Okay, so the application launched. Let's just check first here that, okay, on downloaded, you can see the certificate download succeeded. And let's go to the flashlights part here. You can see the, oh no, not flashlights, but just lights here. And you can see front exterior light is inactive. Let's try to set them to full beam. This. Okay, so you can see the lights are now full beam. So the telematics command worked as well. Okay, so this is pretty much it that I wanted to tell you today. But I would also like to say about a few things to consider. Like, the thing is, we currently use only one link. We set it to instance variable, but you should also consider there could be many connections from the vehicle, so the application should handle this as well. And then send commands to the different links and use different listeners, and in the UI have different buttons for different vehicles. Also, what we didn't do is when we start the app, we didn't actually ask the vehicle for the lock state, for the initial state of the locks. So we just set the lock state that we preferred here in the UI, but you can also ask the lock state from the vehicle. So you can look up these auto APIs from the resources, documentation, and here you can see we have a lot of APIs, and you can look more into it, how to use them. Okay. For the telematics application, for a few things for you to consider is that you should actually disable the set lights button until the certificate has been downloaded, because if the certificates have not been downloaded, the telematics command sending will fail. And also, you don't need to download the access certificates on future launches, because the SDK will save it in its database, and when you launch the app the next time, the certificate will be there. Okay, I still have time, and I heard that the popular API currently is diagnostics. So I will also write the command parsing that will, for instance, listen for the fuel level and print it out in the application. So let's go to activity and add a text view below here. Fuel level text view. Text fuel level. Okay, it works. Okay, and okay. Let's go back to our application, our activity, and bind the text view here. Okay, what was it? It's fuel level text view. Fuel level text view. Fuel level text view. Okay, and we want to, on command received, we create the command, and we want to listen to the ignition command from the vehicle. So if the command is command dot diagnostic state, then we want to get the fuel level from it and show it in the UI. So let's see. Diagnostics command, diagnostic state is the command that is incoming. Let's say the diagnostic state equals diagnostic state command. And from this, you can see we have a lot of things here, like tire pressure, fuel level, mileage, oil temperature, engine rotations per minute, I guess the vehicle speed, washer fluid level, but we wanted the fuel level. So float fuel level is state get fuel level, and fuel level text view set text fuel level plus fuel level plus fuel level. Okay, so now every time in the vehicle when the fuel level changes, the Android application will get a notification or the command that the diagnostic states command, and from the diagnostic state command we can get the fuel level value and set it to the text view. So let's try this one out as well. The thing to consider with the fuel level as well is, as with log state, is that it would be nice to ask the first state after we authenticate. So that is another thing to consider, to ask for the diagnostic state when the Android device authenticates. Okay, so this is through Bluetooth as well, so let's pair it. Okay, it's authenticated, and let's change the fuel level to 79. Okay, and fuel level 70%. So you can see the UI isn't the best, but you can see that it updates. So now you get 60%, set to 50%, and the vehicle updates its fuel level percentage, sends it to our Android application, and we update the view here. Okay. So this is all that I wanted to talk to you about. I hope that this webinar helped you or will help you with developing of your application, and maybe gives you some ideas of what kind of applications to create. And I see that there are so there's a question here. I just heard that access token workflow is stored. Is it possible to indicate the validity of the access token? Okay, I will answer to the questions later, but thank you for listening and have a good evening. Goodbye.